Hey, what is up guys? DRC3 here, back with another My Hero Ultra Impact video, and today we are on the create your own My Hero Ultra Impact character thread yet again to take a look at people's character creations, and I will be posting a community post where you guys can vote for whose creation you thought was the best out of this video. We're going to be starting with Infinite 2.0's character right here for the high-end Nomu hood. We're going to take a look at their plus ultra moves, their action skills, and whatever they've come up with for their kit, and then just deciding if we think it's fair or if it's broken. All right, so this is going to be a strength type character. It is called You Are Stronger Enemy High-End Nomu Hood. The plus ultra move is called You're Not Strong at All. By the way, the people who make these come up with the plus ultra move names. They come up with the percentages and everything on their own, so make sure you go down there, leave some comments about which one you like the best, because it shows a lot of appreciation to them. Deals 750% damage to a single opponent, increases character's power and speed by 30% for 4 turns, increases character's action skill impact and damage by 20% for 3 turns, medium chance of inflicting bleed on a single opponent for 3 turns, low chance of inflicting fear on all opponents for 2 turns. That's interesting. And then character gains regeneration for 3 turns. That is an interesting effect because it says deal 750% damage to a single opponent, and then it doesn't have anything about an attack all, but then at the same time you have a low chance of inflicting fear on all the opponents. I think that would actually be the first plus ultra skill in the game that does a status element to all opponents without actually attacking all opponents, which would be interesting if they implemented something like that. So that's kind of a cool idea that you've come up with there. And then increasing character's power and speed by 30% for 4 turns is good. Speed is good for PvP, and then increasing power, that seems more like a PvP oriented plus ultra so far. You could always build your kits to be more VE tower oriented or PvP oriented. So far, looking up this character, and it makes sense for the character that it is for it to be PvP oriented. But then increases character's action skill impact and damage down by 20% for 3 turns. So increasing their action skill impact and giving them damage down, once again, just screams PvP to me, which is fine. And then, but you've also added in the status elements. The status elements makes it okay for VE tower as well. And then regaining HP, that's depends on how much you're regenerating. It needs to kind of have a percentage there. That could be really broken, or it could be just met effect. It's hard to say without a percentage there. The first action skill is called Transforming Arms. Deals 400% damage to a single opponent, increases character's power and action skill impact by 25% for 3 turns. That's good. Increases character's speed and critical hit rates by 20% for 3 turns. That's also really good. If character is affected by burning, character gains evasion 1 time. I like that. That's a little shot to Endeavor there. Evasion 1 time isn't super OP, honestly, so far that's pretty balanced. The one thing that might not be balanced is increasing their speed by 20% here, and then increasing their speed also up here by 30%. That's a 50% speed increase just from your action skills and plus ultra. Granted, it'll take you 2 or 3 turns to get there, but that might be a little overpowered when it comes to speed, unless his speed stat was really low to start with. Then it might just make him, like, you know, a normal character. So that could be overpowered or it could be normal. It's hard to say, but an increase of crit rate by 20%, completely fair. That is a completely fair action skill. I think you've actually maybe underpowered it a little bit too much with a cooldown time of 6, unless you have action skill cooldown somewhere down here, which I have not read yet. The second action skill is called Nomu Storage. Increases character's power and max HP by 25% for 4 turns. Increases character's speed and action skill impact by 20% for 3 turns if character's HP is above 50%. So another increase in speed and action skill impact. Now this is where it starts to get a little crazy, because that's 20%, 30% plus another 20%. That is a 70% speed increase after you've gone through 3 turns in battle, which is a little bit broken. You'd have to have really low speed stats to make it not too broken compared to other characters. It increases character's defense by 20% for 3 turns. And character gains regeneration for 5 turns if character's HP is lower than 40%. Once again, how much regeneration are they gaining for those 5 turns? If it's not too ridiculous, yeah, that's perfectly okay. And then you also increase their power and skill impact. So this is nothing new to the game, right? I don't think that's too OP, having too much power or skill impact, because the damage cap is 99,000 anyways. If they ever raise the damage cap, then that might end up making this character more OP, but for right now, yeah, it's whatever. 99,000 is like commonplace nowadays. It's not a big deal. Cooldown time of 5 turns. Once again, you are being very conservative with your cooldown times. 5-turn, 6-turn cooldowns make a character like immediately not as useful as they could be, unless you're lowering action skill cooldown time on the auto skills. So we'll see. The first auto skill, shoulder mounted jets, increases character speed by 30%. Okay, too much speed increase here going on. Increases character's power and critical hit rate by 20% for 4 turns when battle starts. So that's 20% plus 20%, 40% crit increase is not bad. Increases character speed by another 20% if the opponent's speed is lower than the character's. Yeah, still too much speed. Wow. Increases character speed by 30% if the opponent's speed is higher than the character's. Character gains evasion 1 time, character gains evasion 2 times if the character is burning. Okay, so you gave them 1 evasion at the start of battle basically, and then another 2 times when burning, so they get 3 evasions when they're burning, I think. Yeah, character gains evasion up here if they're affected by a burn, so you get 3 evasions when you're burning. That might be a little OP. He's super fast and evades everything. That sounds like a little bit broken to me, so yeah. The second, I understand why your cooldowns are so long now. The second auto skill is called Who's the Strongest Here. Increases character's power, action, skill impact, and skill impact by 25% for 5 turns when battle starts. Once again, whatever, you hit 99k, you hit the damage cap, whatever. If that's ever increased, then that becomes a problem. Increases character speed and defense by 20% if a hero is on the opponent's team. Once again, so much speed. You've broken the speed cap of 100% increase. Increases character's damage down by 30% and shortens action skill cooldown by 1 for 4 turns if Endeavor is the opponent on the team. Okay, that's a very specific thing, having Endeavor on the opponent's team, so that's okay, that's actually not too bad for decreasing the action skill cooldown time by 1 every 4 turns. That's not too terrible. Actually, that's fair. But the speed is a little bit broken, and then of course you've added your picture here for the character's art. Very unique, very cool so far. Let's take a look at the next person. Next, we are going to be taking a look at Kaido's UR Strength Japanese Myth Denki Kaminari, an anniversary edition. I'm guessing this works because we got the JP anniversary coming up here soon. So the plus ultra move does not have a name, but it deals 700% damage to a single opponent. High chance, 80% to inflict the opponent with paralysis. Increases all allies HP by 20% for 4 turns. I don't really know how that one works out because, you know, Kaminari never really heals people, but cool. One character's Volt is 500 or higher, so I'm guessing this works kind of like Pageant maybe. Increases character's critical hit rate by 45% for 2 turns. One character's Volt is 1000 or higher, increases character skill impact by 60% for 2 turns. One character's Volt is 5000, increases character's special defense, I think is what they meant there, by 80% for, oh no, speed, that's what it is, I'm dumb. Increases character's speed by 80% for 4 turns. That is, yeah, 80% speed increase. Once again, we're coming back to the broken speed ridiculousness, but yeah, I like the Volt idea where Kaminari builds up kind of like Pageant. That's interesting. I don't think I would have ever thought of something like that, so that's unique. And high chance to inflict a paralyze, 80% is fair. That's honestly not bad. Increases all allies HP. Doesn't really make a whole lot of sense in terms of his kit for this part. One character's voltage is 500 or higher. Crit rate is increased by 45%. Totally fair by 1000% or higher. Increases skill impact by 60%, totally fair. And then I would say this is fair as long as you don't have too much speed increasing in your action skills and stuff like that. So we'll take a look at those below. Your first action skill, once again, no name, deals 250% damage to a single opponent, increases character's voltage by 100. If the opponent is paralyzed, increases character's voltage by 200, so you could get 300 potentially right there. Because the way you worded it, this is a guaranteed 100, right? So that could be 300. Increases character's defense by 15% for 2 turns. Okay, Kaminari having a little bit of defense. That's not terrible in terms of kit, in terms of like making sense. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Gains piercing shot, which is nice. That makes sense for Kaminari. Applies evasion for 1 turn when character's HP is below 50%. So for that whole turn, they're immune. If that's what that means, that's, you know, below 50%. I would like to see a mechanic like that, honestly. That's not too overpowered, I don't think. You never know until you test it out in the game, right? But evasion for 1 turn when you drop below a certain amount of health, honestly, I'd be okay with that. That's not terrible. Cooldown time of 5. That's not a great cooldown, not a terrible cooldown. I'm guessing you're going to have cooldown reduction somewhere down here, but we'll see. Your second action skill deals 250% damage to all opponents, low chance 15% to inflict the opponent with paralysis, so that's a pretty low chance this time around, which you have balanced that out at least. Increases character's voltage by 100, increases character's skill impact by 30% for 2 turns, regenerates character's HP by 10% for 4 turns. When character's HP is below 30%, increases character's voltage by 200, so another 300, so you can get 600 potentially after 2 action skills, which is not too bad. That means you're going to hit your 500 needed for the first plus ultra effect, which is decent so far, as long as your auto skills aren't too crazy. All right, so voltage, I think this is based on what it does. This isn't actually like, this is the status element, whatever you want to call it, kind of like Pageant. So what voltage would do in this case, besides just being something that stacks, it increases character's action skill plus ultra damage by how much voltage the character has. So 100 volts equals 100 damage. After character has done the plus ultra, the voltage will be reset to 0. Okay, interesting. After the volt will be reset, character either gets paralyzed or character's HP goes to below 50%. Okay, so it could either drop their HP to 50% or paralyze the character. That seems like, I would go with the paralyze. The paralyze seems more fair. Dropping them 50% of their health is a little bit extreme, but I do actually came up with a unique effect for Volt, so not bad. The first auto skill increases character's voltage by 100 for every turn. So, okay, you could be up to, I think, 800 voltage the way you've set this up so far. If the opponent is not paralyzed, increases character's voltage by 200. If character is paralyzed, increases character's voltage by 300. And it needs to say, like, if opponent is paralyzed, not character, because if you, that means if you're paralyzed, typically with the way they word things in My Hero Ultra Impact, so that'd be like if Kaminari is paralyzed, then it increases his voltage. So yeah, keep that in mind. His second auto skill at the start of the wave increases character's critical hit rate by 15%. Totally fair. Shorten character's action skill cooldown time by 1. I don't know how that works out with the start of a wave. That would be interesting to see. And then when character's volt is 800, shortens character's action skill cooldown time by 2. I think you should actually take this auto skill part here and put it onto the plus ultra and make more sense. So that way when you plus ultra, if your voltage, let's say it's at the 1000 mark, reduces action skill cooldown time by 2, that would be better and make more sense than having it on the auto skill. But overall, unique effects and abilities, I like it a lot. I like the idea of voltage. Like, this was super creative. I really did enjoy it. And of course, you picked some sick art to look at. So, you know, Japanese myth, Denki Kaminari, I almost wish he was real and coming to the game. That's so cool. Next, we have Alex Shinigami doing a Destruction UR Fused Power Overhaul. His plus ultra move is called Catastrophic Fusion. Deals 750% damage to a single opponent and 250% damage to all other opponents. Decreases the damage to character by 30% for 2 turns. Makes all allies immune to 1 status element. That's pretty cool, making allies immune to a status element, and it makes sense in terms of overhaul. And I like going over this kit in particular because there's already an overhaul in game to compare it to, so I hope you do this overhaul some justice, because like Overhaul was honestly one of the better villains for a long time in the game. Obviously not as much now, so I would love to see a new overhaul in the game like this. So dealing 750% damage to a single opponent and 250 to all other opponents is very good. That's not overpowered at all. Decreasing damage dealt to the character by 30% is great for tankiness. That's going to help him survive, especially if you're doing PvP or PvE. It's going to help in both situations, doesn't matter. And then makes all allies immune to 1 status element, also very good. His first action skill is called Self-Restoration. Makes character immune to status element 2 times. I like that. Removes all power and defense down debuffs from the character, so he can't be debuffed. Hey, that's pretty sick. Heals the character's HP by 15%. Increases effect relative to number of skill chains. That's even better. That is actually, that's perfect. That's exactly what a new overhaul really needs. The character's max HP is increased by 25% for 2 turns. I like that as well. Very cool with the health and stuff you got going on here. You obviously have a pretty good understanding of how the game works and the mechanics in the game. I like it. Cooldown time before, not too overpowered, as long as you don't have action skill cooldown time below. That is fair. Action skill 2, Fragmentation, deals 325% damage to all opponents. This attack has Pierce if the character's max HP is increased, which if you use this first, it definitely will be, which is great. We need another Pierce character, especially with Fantasy Kirishima being in the game. Medium chance, 35% to make all opponents bleed for 3 turns. So there's your status element, which is good. Again, we'll take a status element on top of that. So yeah, I'm liking it. And a cooldown time of 4 as well. So solid kit so far. First auto skill, Swift Reconstruction, heals the character by 5% of their max HP every time they are attacked, healing by 5% of their max HP. So if you put like a HP increase memory on him, as well as him increasing his own max HP, this guy could be pretty insane, pretty good. Increases character's defense and power by 5%, and you increase his defense every 2 times they land a critical hit, max at 40%. At least you put a max on it. Good. I would have recommended that if you hadn't. So solid. That's interesting that you made it a critical hit now though, because then that means I probably don't want to put a health memory on him. I want to put a crit memory on him, considering he doesn't increase his own crit at any point in your kit as far as I see. And then for the second auto skill, it is called Yakuza Leader. Makes all allies excluding character unable to glow below 5% health as long as the character's HP is above 75%. As long as, I think you mean this character, so your other characters can't die as long as this character's alive. Okay, that's pretty unique. That would be an interesting one. For one time only, when the character's HP goes below 40%, it heals the character's HP to 100%. So you have made a really unique character, because this is a tank without having the normal like draw aggro ability that tanks have in the game, right? This is a tank that does not need to draw aggro because your allies survive no matter what till this character is dead, which is interesting. I like this a lot. Like, that is so cool. That is a really cool idea. I enjoyed that. That was, you know what, this is a sick kit, man. Lastly, to wrap up this video, we are going to be taking a look at Mista Zombie's character. They have created another bane of my existence character, but it is an SR character this time around, so it's not going to be as ridiculous as the URs, but it is the SR strength, beauty and brawn, Itsuka Kendo, my favorite character in My Hero Ultra Impact. So the plus ultra move is called Pageant Winning Chop. It deals 450% damage to a single opponent, lowers character skill cooldown time by 1, and then that's pretty decent because I'm looking below. You have a skill cooldown time of 5 and 6, so that lowers them by 1, which is good for an SR character. This attack gains piercing shot if character's critical hit rate is increased. Okay, fair enough. Also medium chance, 40% of inflicting wounding onto the opponent for 4 turns. I'm interested to know what wounding is, and you're about to tell me. Wounding is an effect that reduces the amount of HP a character restores from HP restoring status ailments. Okay, that's kind of cool. We don't have anything like that in the game, so that's very unique. Why you have decided to give it to Kendo, I don't know. I don't think she deserves it, but it's your character and your kit, so fair enough. The first action skill is called Two-Handed Crush, and that is a 5-turn cooldown, becomes a 4-turn cooldown with your plus ultra, deals 350% damage to a single opponent, reduces opponent's speed and defense by 20% for 2 turns. That's solid. Reducing defense, because SRs are typically used in VE Tower and not PvP, right? So reducing defense is going to be more useful. The speed part isn't really super necessary, but it's fine to put that in. I mean, even look at any of the SR characters already in game, they have something for speed for a lot of them anyways. And then low chance, 30% of stunning the opponent for 1 turn. That low chance actually becomes a medium chance when you land a crit, so that's solid. The second action skill, Talk to the Hand, I like it, gives character the ability to counter for 2 turns. Okay, a counter in Kendo, interesting. Also decreases damage to character by 40% for 2 turns, and increases character's critical hit rate by 20% for 2 turns. Solid, giving her the ability to counter and decreasing damage. If she drew aggro, that'd make her even better. I might add that in. As an SR character, like 2 turns or 1 turn of drawing aggro isn't going to break the character. And then the first auto skill, Stiff Competition, increases character's damage by 25% for 3 turns if Najire is on the team. So there you got your healer added in too, like a specific condition. I think you could add maybe a little bit more to this auto skill, because if Najire is not on the team, then you are just lacking an auto skill, right? So you need a little bit of something else added on there so that the auto skill is still useful if Najire is lacking on the team. And then the second auto skill, Supportive Applause, at the start of a wave, make all allied UA high students, excluding character, ecstatic for 2 turns. excluding characters, fair for an SR. It would have been cooler if she was able to do it for herself, but you know, that's fair. You have probably done the right thing there in excluding her. Also reduces all opponents plus ultra gauge by 15% at the start of a wave. I'm not sure how useful that's actually going to be in PvE. It'll be interesting to see how it works out, but I like the art that you've chosen. You've chosen the Pageant art for this character, so Beauty and Brawn, Itsuka, Kendo with the Pageant. We could use some Pageant characters. It'd be kind of cool to have all the Pageant characters come out like with a let's say this is the SR, right? The summonable SR Kendo, and then we have the UR Najire Pageant come out with a free-to-play Yayurozu or something like that. That'd be really cool to see some Pageant characters in the game. So I think you're onto something here. I really enjoyed this kit. But anyways, guys, those are all 4 of the people's kits that we're going to be looking at today in the Create Your Own My Hero Ultra Impact character thread. If you guys want to create your own characters, join my Discord in the description down below. Check out this thread, create your own characters. Now, I do not necessarily get to everybody's characters because there's just like, this channel is literally filled with characters. So if I missed your character or haven't gotten to your character yet, I apologize. I will try to get to them over time. I try to do this every weekend, every other weekend. It depends on what other videos I'm doing at the time, if we have showcases to do, stuff like that. But I am still continuously doing these, and so if I haven't gotten to your characters yet, I will attempt to. If you guys enjoyed the video, please go down there, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and thank you guys for watching. Peace.